What is up, my Squirtleites? It is I, your king, welcoming you back to more Let's Play Pokemon Platinum. In the last episode, we took down Fantina, the leader of the Hearthome gym, and got ourselves the Relic Badge, which looks really out of place because that looks like it should be the 5th badge, not the 3rd. What the heck is going on here? Well, I should say right off the bat that Platinum has a little bit of a different badge order than Diamond and Pearl does, but yet they kept the badges like in the case in the same order, which is weird. But regardless, we're heading out to Route 209, which is on the way to Solaceon Town now. And as we head onto this route, first things first, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna get rid of the rest of my regular repels as we go here, which it's going to be really annoying, but once we get rid of all of them, I'm just going to be so happy because I really hate using regular repels. There's a great ball sitting out here in the grass, so I'm going to grab that, just going after all the items that we can find on this route. And there's also trainers to be found as well as we just continue to level up the entire team, which we have to be very careful about now that there's 5 team members, and experience is very, very spread thin across our Pokemon. But let's talk about the new Pokemon that can be found on this route. The first of those is actually Duskull, which can only be found at nighttime, I should mention. So not the most common thing in the world. And it's only like a 10% chance of appearing or something like that. But Duskull is a very good Pokemon. It's more defensively oriented than a lot of other ghost types than it is offensively oriented. If you evolve it into Dusclops, it's still pretty decent, but it's kind of just a little bit of a tank. It doesn't hit very hard. However, if you can get your hands on a Reaper Cloth and also have somebody that you can actually trade the Dusclops to, who will do you that sort of solid, you can then get Dusknoir. And Dusknoir is awesome. Very, very good Pokemon. Very powerful, very strong, and very, very tanky. Of course, that's a lot of work to actually get it to that point. Not the easiest thing to do all the way back in Gen 4, which does make it kind of prohibited, but other than that, very good Pokemon if you have the means. If you're just going to settle for Dusclops, it's not too bad. It's just not going to do you any good probably going into the Elite Four, so I would not recommend using it that far in. The next Pokemon that can be caught on this route is Chansey. Now, Chansey is very rare. It can be found at any time of day, but it only has a 1 in 20 chance of appearing. Now, there's 2 reasons you want to track down Chansey. 1, Chansey has the 2nd highest experience yield of any Pokemon in the entire Pokedex, behind only the Pokemon it evolves into, which is Blissey. That means if you take it out, you're getting a lot of experience, and that's awesome. The other reason you want to catch it, and the even more prohibitive reason, is because if you find a Chansey, there is a 5% chance that Chansey has a held item on it called a Lucky Egg. The Lucky Egg is a held item that you can give to your own Pokemon that doubles the experience they get as long as they're holding on to it. That is a huge boost that absolutely breaks the game in half, but given the odds of actually tracking it down, so 1 in 250 chance of tracking that thing down out here, I mean, you have almost as much. It's not the exact same, but I would not be surprised if while trying to track down a Lucky Egg, you would accidentally run into a shiny because of your odds, because of how low your odds are of finding a Chansey that's also holding a Lucky Egg. It's really tedious, but if you want to take the time and you're willing to, you can do that here. A very awesome held item, and you really only need 1 to spread across your entire team. All right, let's talk to this guy. A good rod is really good. Wouldn't you agree? Yes, we're of identical minds. Take this good rod. And the reason I wanted to talk to him is because of the last new Pokemon that can be found on this route, which is Goldeen. And obviously, Goldeen can only be caught with a good rod. Old rods were only made for catching Magikarp. Now, Goldeen itself is not a very good Pokemon. It's not very strong. It doesn't really do a lot of damage. It evolves into Seaking, whose entire novelty back in the day was the fact that it could get Horn Drill and it was a water type, and that it could learn Waterfall before Waterfall was a much more ubiquitous move. So that's sort of cool and whatnot, but it doesn't have very good stats. It's just kind of all around below average. It's not very tanky. It doesn't hit very hard. It's not even really all that quick. This is not a good Pokemon. It really isn't. And honestly, the lesser of all of the Pokemon that you are now able to catch with that good rod. So there will be better ones that'll be more available a little bit later on. Honestly, the biggest reason to use a good rod is there is a possibility of catching a Magikarp at level 20 or above in this area. And if you do that, then obviously you just need to give it a rare candy and you got yourself a free Gyarados. So that's pretty cool too. But yeah, that pretty much covers everything I wanted to touch upon out here. Now let's just make our way through and grab all the items that we can as we go. Not really missing a ton of like super imperative items as we go out here. There is one TM that I have to be on the lookout for, but I think it's at the very end of the route, so we'll just take our time as we go. But we should be able to make it through the entire thing in this episode as we touch upon everything. Now, the reason that Duskull is out here is actually related to an area that we're coming up upon, which I do like the little environmental storytelling that they do, where it's like, oh, there's something nearby that's related to this Pokemon, so it makes sense that a few of them have scattered out beyond the area you normally find them in. I don't know. I like that. I think that's clever. Pokemon does that occasionally, and it's really nice when they do that. Gen 5 was really good at doing that, actually, which is why a lot of times you would generally be able to catch a Pokemon in an area, technically before the main area you'd find it in. Because they were like, oh, well, yeah, you're close to where you usually find them, so that's good. We'll talk to the Pikachu in a second. Let's grab this item here, which is a Hyper Potion. Big time overkill for this early in the game, but I'll still take it so we can store it for later. Hi, I'm a Pokemon. No, you're not. You're some kid wearing a Pikachu costume. All right. Yeah, this is back when Hyper Potions were still 200 HP, so yeah, way broken. They eventually nerfed them to 120 HP, which honestly was probably a good idea because 200 HP, oh man, I really don't have anything to use here. I'll just use Blizzard, I guess. 200 HP is like, might as well be a max potion all the way up into the end game. So that's why I always thought Hyper Potions were massively overpowered in the early games, because you don't need a max potion. Max potions are so expensive, and you do not need to buy them unless you're playing like the level 100 game. So, and at that point, you've already got so much money that you're just out there buying full restores every single time. So why would you ever buy max potions? They're just pointless. Okay. I know there's another hidden item up around here somewhere, too. I just need to keep checking the dowsing machine. We got another breeder, and we should be able to take this one down. Breeders just do not yield a lot of experience. I actually think I should switch to Gong Gong in this fight. Let me just Blizzard this Badoo really quickly, and then I'll switch on over to Gong Gong and see if I can't get some experience with it, since we're fighting really easy Pokemon around here. We'll be fighting a much tougher Pokemon later on in the route. There we go. A Cleffa. Okay, yeah, let's do a swap here. Gong Gong's level 24. Not bad. Just remember that Gong Gong has really, really bad like offensive stats right now, which is why I'm avoiding using it. Like, I think it only has like a base special attack of like 30 right now, which is really bad. Let me actually check that really quickly, because I can. 18! Wow, way lower than even I thought. Oh my goodness, that is bad. And I definitely don't want to be using Grass Knot in this situation. So I guess we'll just use Extra Sensory, because it actually does hit pretty hard, and it can cause flinch. It's probably the best thing we're going to be able to get away with actually using here. Yeah, it's just so unfortunate how useless Gong Gong is until it evolves, because Bronzong actually can do something with its moves. Oh yeah, Copycat? Oh, that's going to do a lot of damage to my Steel and Psychic type here. Let's see, what is that, 2? Yeah! How I called that. That was dead on. That's exactly what I was expecting. All right, now let's see if we can knock this Cleffa out, please. Then are you going to throw up... Oh my gosh, it survived. Yay. All right, it's fine. It's fine. We're doing fine. It's just sort of slow. I'm just trying to help you along. It's level 33. We just need to get you to level 33, Gong Gong, and then we'll be fine. We're almost there. Well, not almost there. We still got several levels to go. That's not even like... Okay, that's not even enough experience to be worth it. Never mind. I was hoping that by giving all of it to you, it would be like... Okay, but 150 experience is not worth the time. It just isn't. All right, Eevee, prepare to get punched in the face. Or I guess karate chopped between the ears. I feel kind of bad about this because I think Eevee's adorable, but whatever. They're so good. They're such good Pokemon. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care how overrated they are. We'll always love them. Mime Jr. Actually, let's just stick with Gyoja and use our newly learned Shadow Claw. Why not? Given that Mime Jr. is a Psychic type, these baby Pokemon just do not really yield anything in the way of experience. I would, like, run around searching. The problem is it's just not guaranteed like it is in the next gen with Audino. So trying to find a Chansey in here is such a crapshoot. Plus, okay, this part I might be wrong about. I did not mean to hit that. This part I might be wrong about, but if I remember correctly, Can't Chansey still like run away in this gen too, which also can be really annoying. So you got to knock it out like first hit, which mind you is not hard to do. Chansey has really, really, really low physical defense. So you just hit it with a good physical attack and it'll just go down straight away. But sometimes Chansey's got some decent speed and yeah, that can be a little annoying if you spend all that time looking for it only to not actually be able to knock it out or take its item from it. So there's that. All right, we'll go up this in a second. I'm going to double back really quickly, and I'm going to point out this thing right here. Apparently, and I always looked at this, was like, oh, it's a pile of rocks. No, apparently it's a tower, a whole-ass tower. There's a broken, crumbling tower made of stone. There seems to be a spot that would be a perfect fit for the odd keystone, which we already have. Would you like to use the odd keystone? Sure. It's not doing anything else in my inventory. Stone tower has been restored. Hallowed Tower is written on it, and I love that it doesn't change at all. Okay, let me explain. So we're missing some pieces here. The odd keystone, if you have ever taken a look at it, you might recognize it from somewhere, and that is, of course, because it is the base of a Pokemon named Spiritomb. Now, we cannot get Spiritomb to appear here on the odd keystone and the broken tower alone. We also need to interact with the underground a lot, specifically through the online Wi-Fi services that allow us to interact with real people and their secret bases and things of that nature. Now, obviously, that entire service has been shut down, which means it's all inaccessible, which means that we cannot actually get Spiritomb. You need to have interacted with, what was it? Is it 32? It's like 30-something people, I don't know, 30-something people in the online, and then once you have done that, then the odd keystone will be activated, and you will be able to come to this place and get Spiritomb. Now, Spiritomb is an awesome Pokemon. It back then was even more awesome because it had no weaknesses. It was a Ghost and Dark type, which made it completely immune to all other types. Well, not immune, but nothing did super effective damage on it until the introduction of Fairy types in Gen 6. So yeah, no weaknesses whatsoever. Really, really strong Pokemon. It actually has really good stats. The only downside is its really low speed, which you're mostly going to be okay with. Oh my gosh, can I hit this, please? You're mostly going to be okay with in the event, in most events anyway, because it's special attack, physical attack, special defense, physical defense, all of that stuff's really good. It just has low HP and very low speed, so it's almost always going to be going second. But it's such a strong Pokemon, it doesn't really matter. As far as Pokemon that can't evolve are concerned, it's one of the best, and its rarity and strangeness all on its own make it a very special Pokemon, which is why it's actually pretty hard to obtain. If we could obtain it by some miracle, it's in some way, I would absolutely have gotten that on my team instead of Drifloon or Rotom, but probably instead of Rotom, honestly. But yeah, not really doable given that there is no online services anymore. So we'll just have to move on from that. Yeah, I feel like that was a pretty sufficient explanation. We're almost done here with Route 209. Gosh, I've already lost track of how long this episode's been. We're getting close. I think we only have like one more fight left to do anyway after this one, and then we have a couple more items to grab. So I'll just let this episode run until we get to Solaceon Town, which is coming up here relatively soon. And from there, I am going to be, once again, practically blind, which is going to be fun. Geist gets level 24, not bad. And we defeated Cowgirl Shelly. Awesome. Okay, so... okay, we have you. I don't think this guy's a trainer here. Part of Pokemon Sleep, this is the Lost Tower. Yeah, so this is basically the graveyard area. We'll talk about the Lost Tower later. I'm actually not going to head inside because we can't really explore the Lost Tower just yet until we get our hands on Defog, which obviously we just got the ability to use starting with the last gym, but we don't even have the HM yet, so we can't do anything with it. All right, let's talk to you. And actually, I might actually use this as an opportunity to get myself my other dedicated HM Pokemon while I'm out here, which is going to be Staravia. It's not very hard to catch them out here, and I would like a Pokemon that can get Defog as well as a couple of other things to have as sort of my backup. So I'll be able to switch it out with Bucky here and there from time to time. The problem is, this is always going to be the biggest issue with Gen 4. The HMs, man. There are too freaking many. Defog's worse than Flash. I don't care what anybody says. It is the stupidest HM to ever HM. It's so dumb, and I'm so mad that it's a thing in this generation, and it really derails the pacing of this generation the most of anything in this whole game. And yeah, just the fact that it exists sucks. Most flying types can learn it, but it's still really freaking annoying. And yeah, I hate that we have to play into the game, but we do need to actually worry about it, so I will be catching myself a Staravia probably between episodes once we get to Solaceon Town. So let's knock you out. Again, I think I'm pretty much done here on the... Yeah, I don't really think I have anything else to get, except for like a couple of berries. But I'm going to hit level 25, so that's pretty nice. Still getting there with it. I think once I get to level 31, I'm just going to dump both my rare candies into it so we can just be done with the experience sharing nonsense with it. But welcome, everybody, to Solaceon Town. And as soon as we get here, look who's here. It's Barry. Don't worry, we're not going to do a battle this time. Yahoo! Hey, Don, I got something cool. I'll show you as a special favor. Huh? What's this all about? I got some seals, but I forgot to put them on. All right, it's because I was at the ruins. The ruins here are cool. You have to check it out. I even found a hidden machine. It was to fog. Anyway, I'll battle you another time, so see ya. Okay, it looks like we're going to be checking out those ruins soon. Let's grab ourselves some berries here really quickly. But we're gonna pretty much call this an episode here. We'll explore the rest of Solaceon Town and the Solaceon ruins in the next episode, because that is going to be it for this one. Like I said, I'm going to go catch that Staravia off screen. Thank you all so very much for watching, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this episode very, very much, and I will see you all in the next one.